I wasn't tired, I wasn't drunk, and I know exactly what I saw standing in the middle of that road at 2:13 a.m. The problem is, when I checked my dashcam footage the next morning, there was nothing there. I live in rural Pennsylvania, about 40 minutes outside of Pittsburgh. If you've ever driven through back roads out here, you know how empty they feel at night. No streetlights, no houses, just trees and long stretches of dark asphalt that look like they never end. That night I was coming back from my cousin's place. It was a small birthday thing, nothing crazy. I left around 1:45 a.m. because I had work the next morning. The GPS suggested a shortcut through an older county road I'd never taken before. It shaved off about 12 minutes. I wish I hadn't taken it. The road started normal enough. 2 lanes, faded yellow lines, woods on both sides. No other cars, no lights in the distance. About 10 minutes in, my phone signal dropped. Not unusual out there. But then something weird happened. My headlights flickered, just once. I looked down at the dashboard. Everything else looked fine. Battery normal, engine normal. Then I saw him, about 100 feet ahead, standing dead center in my lane. Not walking, not moving, just standing there. At first I thought maybe it was a deer standing upright weirdly in the glare. Your mind plays tricks at night. But as I got closer, I realized it was definitely a person. Tall, wearing what looked like a long, dark coat, head slightly tilted down, arms hanging straight at his sides. He wasn't trying to flag me down. He wasn't reacting. He wasn't moving at all. My first instinct was to slow down and honk. I tapped the horn once. Nothing. He didn't even flinch. I slowed to maybe 20 miles per hour, heart pounding now. The thing that bothered me most wasn't that he was there. It was how still he was. No shifting weight, no slight sway, completely frozen. I rolled my window down a crack and yelled, "Hey, you okay?" No response. The woods around the road were completely silent. No crickets, no wind, nothing. Then, slowly, he lifted his head, and even in the darkness, I could see he was smiling. Not a normal smile. Too wide, too stiff. Like someone trying to imitate a smile without understanding. How? Every instinct in my body screamed to reverse, but there were trees tight behind me. No shoulder, no room to turn. I hit the horn harder this time. Move! Still nothing. Then my headlights flickered again, and for half a second, he was closer, not walking, not stepping, just suddenly closer, like he had skipped frames. My stomach dropped. I don't know how else to describe it. It was like when a video lags and the character jumps forward. I slammed the brakes. He was now maybe 20 feet away, still smiling, still perfectly still. Then something happened that I will never forget. Bent his knees slightly and leaned forward without taking a step, like gravity didn't apply to him correctly. That's when I snapped. I threw the car into reverse and slammed the gas. I didn't look back. I reversed probably 50 yards before spinning the wheel hard and doing a messy 3-point turn, tires skidding on loose gravel. When I faced forward again, the road was empty, completely empty. No man, no coat, nothing. I sat there breathing heavily, hands shaking. Okay, I told myself. You imagined it. Low light, long day, brain glitch. But then I checked the clock on my dashboard. 13 a.m. I don't know why that time stuck with me. I drove the long way home after that. Didn't see another car the entire drive. When I got home, I didn't sleep much. The next morning I remembered something. My dash cam. I installed it a few months ago after someone sideswiped my car in a parking lot. If there was a guy standing in the road, it would be on video. I made coffee, sat at my kitchen table, pulled the SD card, fast-forwarded to 2:13 a.m. The footage showed the road empty, just my headlights illuminating asphalt and trees. No figure, no person, nothing in the lane. But here's the part that made my blood run cold. At exactly 2:13:08 a.m., the headlights flickered on camera and the audio picked something up, a faint sound, like someone exhaling directly into the microphone. Long, slow, right before I slammed the brakes. But visually, there was nothing there. Replayed it over and over. Nothing. I told myself maybe the camera angle didn't capture him. Maybe he was slightly out of frame, but that didn't explain why I reacted. Why I slammed the brakes. Why my steering wheel jerked like I was avoiding something, and then I noticed something else. For one frame, just one, the image distorted like digital interference, and in the distortion, there was something pale in front of the car, low to the ground, too fast to pause clearly, but not human-shaped. That's when I checked the map, that county road. It used to be the site of an accident years ago. A man had reportedly wandered into traffic late at night and caused a fatal collision, hit by multiple vehicles. Witnesses described him as standing motionless in the road, not responding, just staring. Don't drive that road anymore. But here's the worst part. 3 weeks later, I was driving home from work. Different road, closer to town, more traffic. As I stopped at a red light, I glanced in my rearview mirror, and in the back seat, for a split second, I thought I saw someone sitting behind me, head tilted, smiling. I spun around immediately. Back seat empty. When I looked forward again, the light had turned green, and my clock read 2:13, not AM, 2:13 p.m. I don't drive at night anymore unless I absolutely have to, and if I ever see someone standing in the road again, I'm not stopping. I live in northern Arizona. If you've ever driven between Flagstaff and Phoenix at night, you know how isolated those highways feel. Miles of desert, sparse gas stations, long black stretches of road where your headlights are the only thing, separating you from nothing. That night, I was driving back from Phoenix after visiting my sister. I left later than I planned, around 12:50 a.m. The GPS said 2 hours and 10 minutes home. I remember thinking, I'll be in bed by 3. I was wrong. About 40 minutes into the drive, traffic disappeared completely. No taillights ahead, no headlights. Behind, just me. The radio started losing signal somewhere near Camp Verde, static fading in and out. I turned it off. The silence in the car felt heavier than usual. That's when I saw him, standing on the shoulder. Thumb out, not waving, just standing. There, he looked mid-30s maybe. Dark jacket, jeans, no backpack, no luggage, which was already strange. Who hitchhikes across desert highway at almost 2 a.m. with no bag? As I passed him, I felt that weird guilt pull. You know that feeling when you don't stop for someone and it lingers? I checked my rearview mirror. He hadn't moved, still standing, still watching my car. I drove maybe another 200 yards, then something inside me said, just turn around. It's a long highway. He could be stranded. So I did. I made a U-turn at the next opening and drove back. He was exactly where I left him. When I slowed down, he didn't smile, didn't nod, didn't even look relieved. He just walked slowly to the passenger side and opened the door without asking. That annoyed me immediately. Hey man, I said. You could at least ask. He didn't respond. He just got in and shut the door. And that's when I smelled it. Not alcohol, not sweat, cold. The inside of my car suddenly felt cold, like I'd left the windows open in winter. I glanced at him. He was staring straight ahead, hands folded in his lap. Perfect posture, no movement. You headed north? I asked. He nodded once, still not looking at me. What's your name? I asked. Silence. Then slowly, he turned his head toward me and smiled. I know yours, he said. My stomach tightened. What? He tilted his head slightly. Daniel. My hands tightened on the steering wheel. I never told him my name. There was nothing in my car with my name visible. No work badge. No mail, nothing. How do you know that? I asked. He didn't answer, just kept smiling. Then he looked forward again. I tried to rationalize it. Maybe he saw my Facebook profile photo on a local page. Maybe he recognized me from somewhere. Small towns are like that. Where you coming from? I asked. He said one word. Home. Where's that? Silence again. The temperature in the car kept dropping. I checked the AC. It was off, but my breath was starting to fog faintly. I told myself, it was just the desert night cooling down. We drove like that for about 10 minutes. No cars passed us. None coming the opposite direction either. which was weird. That highway always has at least occasional traffic. I noticed something else. His reflection in the side mirror. It didn't line up. His head angle in the mirror didn't match how he was. Sitting in the mirror, his head looked slightly tilted down, but in real life, he was upright. I blinked hard. Looked again. Normal. "Where exactly do you need to get off?" I asked. "Soon," he said. That was the second word he'd spoken besides my name. Then he added, "You shouldn't have turned around." My heart started pounding louder now. "What?" "You weren't supposed to see me twice." That sentence didn't make sense. I checked the clock. 4:47 a.m. That time stuck in my head instantly. "See you twice?" I asked, but when I glanced at him, he was staring directly at me now, not blinking, and his smile was wider, too wide, like it was stretching further than it should. Then he said something I still hear in my head sometimes. "You passed me before." I swallowed. "Yeah." I turned around. He slowly shook his head. "No." The radio suddenly turned on by itself. Static exploded through the speakers. I jumped. I reached to turn it off, but before I could, through the static, I heard breathing. Slow. Close. Like someone was right against the microphone. I turned it off. Dead. Silence again when I looked at him. He was no longer smiling. His face was completely blank. "Pull over," he said. It wasn't a request. The tone had changed. It was lower, heavier. I looked ahead. There was nothing but desert and darkness. "No," I said quietly. "Pull over." The temperature dropped even more. My hands were freezing now. I stepped harder on the gas. The speedometer climbed. He didn't react to the speed, didn't brace himself, didn't move, just stared at me. Then he leaned closer, without shifting his body, just his upper torso bending unnaturally forward, and whispered near my ear, "You were never alone in this car." I slammed the brakes, hard. The tires screeched. The car fishtailed slightly before stopping sideways across part of the road. I spun toward him. The passenger seat was empty, door closed. Seatbelt still clicked in place like someone had been wearing it, but no one there. I scrambled out of the car, looked around. Nothing but desert, no footprints, no figure walking away, no sound, just wind. I checked my back seat. Empty. I got back in, hands shaking uncontrollably now. And then I saw something that made my stomach drop. The passenger seat was indented, like someone was still sitting there. The cushion pressed down. Slowly. It began to rise back up. Like weight was lifting off it. I didn't wait. I floored the gas, drove nonstop until I reached the next gas station. When I pulled in, there were cars, lights, people. Normalcy. I parked, sat there shaking. Checked the time. a.m. The drive from where I braked to that gas station should have taken at least 25 minutes. It had taken less than 10. I went inside. The clerk looked at me strangely. "You okay?" he asked. "Yeah," I lied. "Did anyone come in here tonight? Walking? Maybe dropped off?" He frowned. "No, been dead all night." Then he paused. "Actually, there was a car that came through about 30 minutes ago." My heart jumped. "What kind?" "Looked like yours. Same color." I felt cold again. "I've been driving straight here." He shrugged. "Must have been someone else then." When I got home, I checked my dash cam. The footage showed me driving alone. No passenger door opening, no one getting in, no one sitting next to me. I could hear myself talking, asking questions. But there was no second voice, just silence where he should have been, except for one moment. At 1:47 a.m., the audio glitched and layered under the static, a whisper, not from beside me, from behind me, saying my name, slowly, Daniel. I don't drive at night anymore, and I never stop for hitchhikers. But sometimes, when I'm alone in my apartment late at night, I hear a soft knock at my door, 3 slow taps, and a voice on the other side that says, "You saw me twice?" I drive long distances for work, not trucking, just regional equipment repair, small towns, rural contracts, a lot of back roads and highways most people don't even know exist. That night I was heading back home to western Texas after finishing a late job near Abilene. I left around 11:30 p.m. The GPS said 3 hours and 40 minutes. It was going to be one of those quiet drives, energy drink, podcast, empty highway. At first, everything was normal. About 20 minutes into the drive, I noticed headlights behind me, far back. Nothing unusual, cars pass each other all the time on those roads, but this one didn't pass, didn't speed up, didn't slow down. It just stayed there. Same distance, maybe 6 or 7 car lengths behind me. I switched lanes. It switched lanes. I slowed down slightly. It slowed down. I sped up. It matched me. At first I assumed coincidence, but after 30 minutes, it started feeling deliberate. I glanced at the clock. 18 a.m. Still plenty of road ahead. I told myself to relax. Maybe they're just cautious. Maybe they feel safer following another car at night. That explanation worked. For about another 40 minutes. Then things got strange. We reached a small town bypass. Speed limit dropped from 75 to 45. I slowed, so did they. But here's the part that made my stomach tighten. When we passed under a streetlight, I should have been able to see the driver. But the windshield looked too dark, not tinted, just dark, like light wasn't reflecting off anything inside. No silhouette, no dashboard glow, nothing, just black. I adjusted my rearview mirror, squinted, nothing. Okay, I muttered. You're overthinking. We exited the town, back to open highway. Now it was 1:02 a.m. The headlights were still there. Exact same distance. I decided to test something. There was a rest stop coming up in 5 miles. I signaled and took the exit suddenly. The car followed. That's when my pulse started climbing. The rest stop was empty. No trucks, no other cars, just 2 dim parking lot lights buzzing with insects. I pulled into a parking space. The car behind me pulled in 30 feet away. Didn't park properly, just stopped at an angle. Headlights still on, engine still running. I sat there gripping the wheel, waiting for the driver to step out. Nothing happened. Seconds, 1 minute, 2 minutes. Still nothing. The headlights stayed on. Blinding. I felt something shift in my chest. Anger maybe, or adrenaline. I opened my door and stepped out. The air felt heavy and dry. The other car was an older dark sedan. Couldn't see the make clearly. The headlights were painfully bright. I shielded my eyes and walked toward it. Hey, I called out. No response. I got closer. Still no movement inside. When I reached the driver's side window, I looked in. The seat was empty, completely empty. No driver, no passenger, no one in the back, but the engine was running. Radio faintly playing static. I stepped back slowly. My brain struggled to process it. Maybe they ducked down. Maybe tinted glass was hiding them. I leaned in closer. Nothing. The steering wheel was perfectly centered. Gear and drive. Foot clearly not on the brake. But the car wasn't moving. That's when I noticed something worse. The headlights weren't connected to a battery hum. They were too steady, too constant. No engine vibration. The hood wasn't even shaking slightly, like it wasn't mechanical at all. Just light. I backed away. Slowly, and as I did, the headlights flickered once, just once, like a blink. I turned around immediately and jogged back to my car, locked the doors, heart pounding. As I started my engine, the sedan's headlights turned off, completely dark, but I could still see its shape in the dim lot lighting. It hadn't moved. I didn't wait. I pulled out fast, back onto the highway. I told myself it had to be a prank, some kind of trick car, maybe someone hiding in the back seat. Maybe I missed something. 5 minutes later, headlights appeared behind me again. Same distance, same brightness. My hands went cold. I checked the clock. 47 a.m. that time again. The car hadn't re-entered from a side road. There were no intersections, no merging lanes, nothing. It was just there, behind me, matching my speed. I sped up to 85. It stayed with me, still there, at 100 mph. It was still exactly 6 car lengths back, perfect distance, no swerving, no drifting, perfect alignment. That's when fear changed into something else. Dread, because this wasn't random, this wasn't road rage. This wasn't coincidence. This felt intentional. I took the next sudden exit, a dirt service road, sharp turn, dust flying. No sane driver would follow someone blindly down there at that speed. The headlights followed instantly, no hesitation, no brake lights. Just perfect movement. We drove down that dirt road for nearly 3 miles. No houses, no lights, just pitch-black desert. I slammed my brakes suddenly. The headlights behind me stopped instantly too. No skid, no delay. Perfect reaction time, like it predicted my movement. I stepped on the gas again. The car followed. No sound of tires on dirt. No engine roar. Just light. That's when I heard something inside my car, a faint clicking sound. Behind me, like someone tapping a fingernail on glass. I looked in the rearview mirror. Back seat empty. The clicking stopped, then started again. 3 taps. Pause. 3 taps. My chest tightened. I turned around quickly. Nothing. When I looked forward again, the headlights were closer. Not 6 car lengths anymore. 3. I pressed harder on the gas. The clicking started again. 3 taps. Pause. 3 taps. And then, my radio turned on by itself, static. Then a voice layered beneath it. Soft. Calm. "You've been driving too long," I screamed and shut it off. But the voice didn't stop. It wasn't coming from the speakers anymore. It was coming from behind me, inside the car. "You should let me drive." I don't remember making the decision. I just floored the accelerator. The dirt road ended abruptly near a closed construction gate. No way forward. I slammed the brakes hard. The headlights behind me stopped inches from my rear bumper. I sat there shaking. There was nowhere to go. The clicking stopped. Total silence. I looked in the mirror slowly. The sedan was there. Engine silent. Headlights on. Then, the driver's door opened. Slowly, no interior light turned on, no silhouette stepped out, just the door opening into darkness. Waiting. I locked my doors again even though they were already locked. Then my driver's side door handle rattled violently. Someone trying to open it. I screamed and pressed the horn. It blared into the empty desert. The handle stopped moving. The headlights flickered again and went out. Complete darkness. I sat there frozen. After what felt like minutes, I looked behind me. The car was gone. Gone. No engine sound. No tire tracks in the dirt. Nothing. Just empty road. I reversed carefully, turned around, drove back to the highway. I didn't see the headlights again that night. I made it home at 3:12 a.m. I checked my trip meter. 73 miles since I first noticed the car. The next morning, I went outside to grab something from my back seat. There were 3 small fingerprints on the inside of my rear windshield, like someone had been sitting back there, tapping. 3 taps. Pause. 3 taps. And scratched faintly into. The glass beneath it, so light I almost missed it, were 5 words. "You should have let me."